since childhood, and probably for other people as well, I've kind of been saddled with these idioms and sayings and words of advice that people would give, which you would hear. I would hear so much that I start to roll my eyes at them, at these things. Like, oh, these these lessons to be learned are obvious, you know, and the things that I shouldn't even have to be told, especially when you hear them so much and it's so drilled into your head. So, for example, like I was on this channel before, I've introduced this kind of topic, but I'm delving into it a little bit more right now. So, for example, you can't love you can't be loved by somebody until you love yourself. Um, it's kind of like universal saying that I'm sure you've heard so often. But the reason why these things are said so often is because they're the truest thing that are kind of applicable to a lot of people. You know. Um. Oops. So my point being, I don't know. Life is just so telegraphed. What experiences are unique to you? You know, what exactly makes you special? It's something that I kind of have to tackle with, and I don't think I really grasped it, grasped it in its entirety. But it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I read a short story last year in Mr. O'Brien's advanced composition class called Sticks by George Saunders. And it's about this guy who it's about this guy who is like telling the story of his father. And his father was like kind of a nut job who had this like pole, or like a pole in his yard, in his front yard, that he would decorate depending on the season. So, for example, for uh, for Christmas, he would dress it in a Santa costume, or for Thanksgiving, a pilgrim, or whatever, like a seasonal pole. And then he describes this pole as being his father's concession to joy. Like this is his way of expressing himself. A pole, you know? So my point is this. There are things that you hear that you know just because they're so drilled into you. But then there's things like just the description of a concession, you know? These like poignant little things that you'll read in your life and they'll stick with you and you'll repeat them in your mind. Now, every day since around August 20th, um, I've written some work of literary merit, at least in my eyes. So whether it be a poem or a short story. That's kind of what I specialize in, you know? Poems and short stories. And I call that folder my concessions. Because I feel as though they're my concessions to expression, you know? In the same way that that poem was that man's concession to joy. By writing, it's my concession to expressing myself. And being able to be, you know, a little bit vulnerable, you know? Even if my writing is not always on the most vulnerable topics, you know? It's like, it's still something, you know? So that's been like kind of a vice for me. In a way, almost like a diary, you know? Not necessarily, but kind of. Now that my senior year is over, I decided to stop. I decided to stop making concessions. Without I find new ways to concede my joy in things. Of course, that just means making a new folder. Now called My Humanity. But I digress. I think we all have concessions, you know? I think it could be in all the different ways, you know? So where I will write a poem every day, or someone may, you know, cope and concede their emotions in some kind of different way. You know, dance, acting and theater, love, comedy. You know, there's so many ways to express yourself. So many ways to consider art to exist. Because that's ultimately what art is. Art is the expression of humanity. That's why AI can't do it. But anyway. I think it's wrong not to have your own concession. You could describe it however you want. But my point is, you need to be able to express yourself. And find a way to express yourself. Otherwise, it's unhealthy to keep everything locked in. Of course, there are ways to express yourself that are unhealthy. Like, for example, somebody who's, you know, a serial killer may find that channel through murder and turning artwork out of their victims. Who knows? So for today, I wanted something a little bit different. Oh my god! Wait, I'm playing this first. Oh yeah. Oops, I got distracted.
Crossy Road.
Crossy Road. Damn it.
Let's go!
Oh, I keep getting distracted. No, well, I'm getting like extra distracted now. Oops, too loud. Oh, I have less than 100 more unlocks. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I don't think I'm not good at oration, but I wanted to read one of my concessions. So this is a short story I wrote called My Alien Story. This is the most editing I've ever done in my entire life. This is a story I wrote called My Alien Story. So let me read it. Dr. Zhang was out sick with food poisoning after a vacation in Cancun, which meant he was out of NASA's Fresno base for a month. The fury of his supervisor, Dr. Conrad Parizo, was therefore redirected to his intern, Miss Anna Lin, who mostly got her position as a result of being Zhang's sister-in-law. On the fourth day of Zhang's absence, Anna's psyche cracked. She came to Parizo's office without appointment, red-faced. It's just too much. I've already got all the studying to do. I can't handle Dr. Zhang's workload on top of it, she argued. That's no problem, Anna, because I've got a whole registry of geeks drooling at the thought of this internship. It's too much, so I'll give the next kid a ring. No problem, he resolved smugly. Well, that's not necessary. So what is? Nothing, sorry, I'll get it done. Perfect. And it was good. The following week, Anna took up an offer from her friend to smoke some joints. She called her friend on the phone, who told her that the doctor was doing well in the golfing tourney. Isn't he sick? Questioned smooth-voiced Anna. Oh, yes, quite. And it was good. Anna's deadlines grew more and more formidable over the course of the next month. It was something like 1 in the morning when, while eating donuts in the Fresno Observatory, she made first contact with extraterrestrial life. All was silent until it wasn't, and the darkness rang with a terrible croak. Without a further sound, before her sprang its source, an actual alien. Anna screamed. 2 hours later, the night guard found her pulseless. Her school's principal released a newsletter that week on the terrible grip drugs had on the student body. Poor Anna Lynn overdosed, she wrote. Her weed was laced with horse shrink. Our campus will never be the same again. Don't do drugs, folks, because life is the greatest price to pay. And it was good. So I wrote this on October 5th, 2025. Wow, this is really relevant. I promise there's nothing like I picked this arbitrarily. I swear to God there was okay, whatever. I wrote this on October 5th. What's the meaning? I don't think there really is a meaning. It's just about, being a student is difficult, you know? And this is my concession, This is how I express myself, It's these tiny things. I wrote this in an hour, Like, it's not a good story, but it's, I like it. It's a fun story. Let me know what you think. Do you like videos like these? I'd be happy to share more. But yeah, find your concession, dude. Any of you, all of you, find what it is that you love and just do it. Express yourself. You need to share it like I do, even if it's just to yourself. Don't bottle it though. You guys have a good night.